If you've been browsing around YouTube at all in the last couple of days, particularly if you follow any smaller channels like I do, you've probably seen a lot of posts talking about the changes to the way YouTube handles their partnerships. Particularly that a lot of channels, by my estimates, the vast majority of them are getting cut out of the partner program entirely. This is, in a lot of ways, a kind of scary move, but is it the right one? If you're a struggling channel or you haven't started one at all, you may be feeling pretty discouraged right now, but personally, I think a lot of the doomsaying might be a little premature. Let's break it down. So right now, partner status is being taken away from any channel that doesn't have at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 cumulative hours of watch time over the last 12 months. This is kind of a huge 1-2 punch that's leaving a lot of middle and lower tier creators absolutely reeling right now. Individually, neither of those feats is that difficult to accomplish if your channel is doing even a little bit well. 1,000 subscribers is often just a matter of endurance. You tend to just accumulate them over time. Likewise, 4,000 hours seems like a lot, but I mean, okay, so a single video with like a 10-minute average watch time only needs about 24,000 views to clear that threshold. Okay, that can be really hard for a single video. Most of mine aren't even near that high, but okay, but over multiple videos across a year, that actually, that's still really hard. This is a really high bar to clear. So the previous hurdle that they added in April of last year already garnered a lot of outrage and criticism, but it was pretty simple. You only had to get 10,000 views across your entire channel before you were allowed to monetize. But even then, a lot of people weren't really hitting that mark. I can't imagine how it would feel right now if you'd started a channel in April and have been collecting views all year just to find out now, in January, the goalposts have been taken out of your hands and rocketed to an even more seemingly unattainable height. So why is YouTube doing any of this? Why kick millions of people out of the system right now? The very public reason that YouTube has been giving is an advertiser problem. A lot of advertisers are unhappy with the sorts of videos their content is showing up in front of or in the middle and end of. There have been a few very public controversies lately, including one in particular that I think you know the one that it is. If you've watched almost any other video on this topic, the first thing everyone blames and talks about is Logan Paul. He made a really insensitive and terrible video, and the backlash he's received has been pretty huge. I don't really want to go too much into Logan Paul and whether or not he did things that were wrong. He's certainly the most recent and most public example. By the way, I couldn't help but notice how much PewDiePie was delighting in dunking on that guy, by the way.
It's the internet! It's coming for you! Logan, run!
Seems ironic to me, but let's not get off topic here. Blaming one individual or another or any other on this move is already kind of the wrong attitude to be taking with this sort of thing, because no one individual's action could have instigated or prevented this change. YouTube has turned into a bit of a monster. Honestly, they've been incredibly huge for a while now. They're the second most visited website on the entire internet, second only to Google, and since Google bought them, they're effectively the same monster. They've bloated so massively and so huge that it is literally impossible for YouTube to police itself with any degree of rationality. Approximately 1.3 billion people have YouTube accounts right now. Now, obviously, the vast majority of those are people who are just watching videos and aren't necessarily content creators of any kind, but even so, about 300 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. That's over 400,000 hours of footage added every 24 hours, and the rate's only increasing. Being able to process even a fraction of that is a friggin' nightmare. So they've been trying to wrestle this beast down to a manageable level for a while now. The most important thing they added was their infamous algorithms and content scanners as they tackled YouTube's biggest logistical hurdle, copyright infringement. Never mind people using songs in their videos that they don't really have the rights to, which, by the way, YouTube is very good at catching and punishing. Remember the olden days where people would just post a whole season of their favorite TV show and then try to profit off of it? That was a huge deal, and even now they still kind of struggle with that. You can still find people doing all kinds of sneaky business like flipping the footage, shrinking it down into one corner,
tweaking the audio in weird ways that's just bad enough that people will still watch it, but it can slip through the filters.
It's like a whack-a-mole game. For every automated method YouTube comes up with to combat this sort of thing, pirates find a new way to game that system and make ad revenue off of other people's hard work. That sucks. I've had my work pirated before, and I'm not even very popular. Plus, ad revenue going to those guys is stuff that's not going to you or me or any creators. Advertisers don't like that either. But copyright's not really the problem. I can already hear the furious responses coming. It brings us to the other thing that YouTube seems to be adding right now that I don't see very many other people addressing. Towards the end of last year, they started trying to also add algorithms that filtered all of our YouTube content, not just for copyright claims, but also for content suitability. Basically, whether or not a particular video was advertiser friendly, a pretty intentionally nebulous term that's a little difficult to nail down, which has been frustrating for a lot of people. Do they just mean something that's inoffensive? Some of the biggest channels curse like sailors and seem to suffer no ill effects, and even the Logan Paul video would be a little hard for a computer to pinpoint. Moment to moment, none of the things he's doing seem that bad without the full context that he's doing them rather disrespectfully around a dead body. That's immediately obvious to us, but a computer's not really going to be able to know any of that context and likely won't be able to in the foreseeable future, although who knows, robots are getting pretty robust. So, the algorithm system has a lot of misfires. They can completely miss why some things are offensive and also be way too overzealous on some videos where it's unclear what's offensive about them to begin with. So, they added an appeal system to that late last year where if you think a video has been marked in error, you can request to have a real, actual human being watch your video and decide if that is appropriate. What the metrics are for what's appropriate and what isn't, YouTube's still keeping close to its chest, but I imagine they've got to have some kind of like MPRA style internal system for that. Point being, remember earlier, 300 hours of content are uploaded every minute. Even if only a fraction of that gets flagged as inappropriate, the quantity is still just way too huge for even an army to sort through. And yet that seems to be what we're trying because an army is what we're getting. The other thing YouTube is adding, and this is the part designed to catch more of our Logan Paul types, is a commitment to add 10,000 contractors for the purpose of reviewing the appropriateness of content both on appeals and presumably in new channels looking to get monetized. This is the thing that I'm actually trying to be a little bit hopeful about. Never mind that, 10,000 jobs being created is pretty great just in general, even if I don't envy some working schlub the task of figuring out what ASMR is, let alone if it's appropriate for the general public. Real people can't be tricked by copyright workarounds. Just because your thing's over in a corner, they're still gonna know what it is. Real people have a good idea of when a video is abusing search engine optimization to make weird, offensive, disturbing videos about Paw Patrol and Frozen characters being inappropriate while targeting literal toddlers. A little first-hand experience with that one. There's a ton of content on YouTube that honestly they need to figure out how to purge and control. There's some weird corners, there are, even if you're not part of them. Raising the goalposts and hiring an army to kind of sort through that trash is kind of way overdue. I'm probably overlooking a lot of little things because I am lucky enough that I'm in a comfortable position that I am over both thresholds and just was by default. So I'm probably overlooking a lot of inconvenient things that you guys know about because I just happen to be in the comfortable position that I was already over both thresholds. I realize there are a lot of hardworking, honest folks getting just absolutely left in the dust here a little bit. And the biggest problem is that both of those thresholds can be surprisingly tricky to meet at once. I've definitely seen channels with tons of watch time traffic that just don't accumulate subscribers for one reason or another. It can be a real struggle, he said, holding up the subscribe button and looking at it suggestively. Yeah? You know where it is. Yeah. And then sometimes old, even really big channels who used to qualify and be fine still end up getting left behind. Maybe they already had tens of thousands of subscribers, but they just went on hiatus for one reason or another. What happens to shorter content with high volume of views, but not that much watch time? Things like Vine stars who make 6-second videos, or animators who like to draw things. Do you fall out the bottom of the partner program if you're just producing the wrong content or just haven't made enough recently? That seems like kind of a bad deal to have to reapply every time you want to get back in the game. Plus, even those situations kind of leave out one of the biggest things YouTube has going for it, the one-hit wonder of any normal person just going viral. Things from, like, a kid being high from going to the dentist video, to a mom being really impressed by a Chewbacca toy. Those things all kind of lose the ability to actually make direct money on their success. It's kind of a lottery ticket idea of being able to make it big on a literal 15-minute video of fame, and it's kind of getting crushed right now. Maybe that's a sacrifice YouTube is making intentionally as part of their seemingly intended goal of replacing television. But there's definitely something a little tragic at cutting out that hopeful, idyllic lottery ticket idea that's inspired so many millions to share little slices of their life with people around the world. That's a huge portion of what you find on YouTube. My sincere hope is that when they get the chance to clean house a little bit, that maybe they'll find out a better system that gets to bring some people back into the tent and lower the standards a little bit rather than continuing to increase them. That may never be the case, and who knows, if they continue to tighten their belts, I may not be making the next cutoff point. I'm well aware of where my channel sits in the pecking order. But mostly the biggest thing that I want to emphasize, even though most of this video has been kind of negative, is to not let yourself be discouraged. Take it the same way that I'm trying to take it right now, in that I know where the cutoff is, and I know that I'm not as high above that cutoff as I would like to be. If you just got demonetized and unpartnered, don't let that hold you down. Take that kick in the butt as a kick in the butt and get motivated, and take this as a time. What I'm trying to do right now is be introspective and look at ways that I can improve and climb over, find what I'm missing, figure out what that thing is. Why don't you have 4,000 hours or 1,000 subscribers? And there's a lot of really genuine reasons that aren't necessarily your fault. There's a lot of luck involved in this, and that's a huge, huge discouragement. But the one thing you don't want to let it do is to make you stop creating content, because that's the only thing that guarantees that you'll never achieve that goal. It makes me want to redouble my efforts, and I hope that this change is making you guys want to redouble your efforts as well, because there's a lot of just raw, undiscovered potential, potentially even watching this video right now, and I hope that you just take to arms and make some great stuff. Figure out what's missing and just grab it, because it might be easier than you think with just the right tweak. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it worth this kind of scrutiny from YouTube for them to try to transform everything on their venue into the standards people expect of a television channel? Obviously, you can still upload stuff even if you don't adhere to those, but that defeats the purpose. People want to be able to upload the things that they want to be able to upload, and a lot of freedom just got taken away. Have they made a huge mistake and overplayed their hand here? Are they actively discouraging the sort of viral hits that made them a household name? It might be something they can afford to do right now, but it does seem like they're kind of turning their back on their own history, and if those creators get discouraged, where are they going to go instead? Sound off in the comments. I'd love to talk to you guys about this sort of stuff, and I just want to say thanks so much for watching what I know was kind of a long video, because it helps my view time, and that's a thing that matters more than ever. It used to matter, but now it matters a lot. But okay, that's it. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. We'll chat in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.